Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you both for being here today. You know, far too many families in Massachusetts and all across the country have had to bury someone they love because of this opioid crisis. More deaths, more funerals. But this crisis didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen on its own. And a big reason it happened is because the biggest drug companies in the country pushed powerful and addictive pills, lied about how addictive those pills were, and made billions of dollars doing it. I think it's time to start talking about holding these companies accountable and holding their executives accountable for the crisis they helped create. In Massachusetts, Attorney General Maura Healey is helping lead a bipartisan coalition of 41 states investigating drug manufacturers and distributors for their role in the opioid epidemic. More than 30 cities and towns in Massachusetts have already filed lawsuits, and a number of native tribes, including the Cherokee Nation, have also sued in both tribal and federal courts. So let me ask this, Governor Hogan, Maryland is also part of this investigation. Baltimore and several county governments in Maryland have filed lawsuits against manufacturers and distributors. Do you agree that part of tackling this crisis is holding these companies accountable?
There's no question about that, and we have directed our Attorney General, Brian Frost, to also take action and to sue some of these pharmaceutical manufacturing companies. There is liability. Some of them knowingly just pushed the sale of some of these drugs, knowing that they had these addictive capabilities and did not disclose it. And you can't paint all of the people that were trying to help people with pain in a broad brush, but the ones who were doing these things definitely should be held accountable. I agree with you, absolutely. Unfortunately, we can take those actions, and we should, but it's not going to stop the people that are dying on the streets.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand. But, you know, the investigation is ongoing, and we should let the attorneys general do their work on this. But if it turns out that the drug companies broke the law, lied about it, and hurt people in order to rake in profits, it won't be the first time on this. A few years ago, a corporation called Insys Therapeutics made a spray out of fentanyl, a powerful opioid. The FDA told the company that its spray was approved only for use in cancer patients who were in such pain that other drugs like morphine just weren't enough to control that pain. But it turns out there just weren't enough of these cancer patients for the company to make buckets of money. And so it started illegally marketing the drug to people with milder forms of pain and bribing doctors to overprescribe it. A lot of states sued Insys, including Massachusetts. Oregon was the first state in the country to reach a settlement, and it forced the company to pay up. So, Governor Brown, that settlement occurred a few months after you took office in 2015. Has the money that Oregon recovered from Insys helped the state fight the opioid epidemic?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Senator Warren. We received a little over $1 million. Over half of it went directly to opioid substance abuse treatment and recovery. A portion of it went to Oregon Health Sciences University. They're a well-renowned research medical university, and they're doing incredible work. And I was very pleased with how the dollars were targeted.
Good. You know, I'm glad to hear it, because here's the thing. When a company breaks the law, it's because people running the company broke the law. And a few months ago, the Department of Justice announced that the founder and owner of Insys, along with 6 top executives, had been indicted for fraud and racketeering because of their actions. So let me ask you this, Governor Brown. Do you agree that CEOs deserve to be held personally accountable when the companies they run break the law and hurt people?
Senator Warren, in egregious cases like Insys, absolutely. But obviously, these cases need to be taken on a case-by-case approach. This was a particularly egregious case, and people should be held personally accountable.
I agree on this one. You know, this crisis is not a Democratic or a Republican issue, and neither is holding drug companies accountable. The Department of Justice announced last week they're forming a task force to target opioid manufacturers and distributors that have contributed to the epidemic, and I am very glad to see it. I think it's important. Families and communities have already paid an enormous price for this crisis, and it is time to start holding companies and their CEOs accountable. Thank you both.